3 reasons why I didn't show up before and 3 reasons why I'm definitely going to show up this year and beyond. What's up? It's your girl, Dr. Tureka Louis, otherwise known as Dr. Lou, your partner in personal growth. I figured we'd try something new this year, and I just want to share it while I'm on a walk with you, because that's one of the things I'm more committed to doing, is taking better care of myself this year. But that's a whole nother story. This will be 3 reasons why I didn't show up in 2023 and before, and 3 reasons why I'm darn sure gonna show up now and beyond. Analysis paralysis is not going to kick in and make me fix 11 things that I just thought about, including the fact that I only brought my 360 camera with me. And this is my first time using this camera, so I just kind of want to test it out. It's the Insta360 One RS. For those of you that are curious about it, if you have questions about how it's going or whatever, you drop something in the comments or DM me and I'd be happy to drop a video on that or respond to you if you have questions. I noticed that in the past, I really wasn't allowing myself to be seen. I kept making promises, at least for the past 5 or 6 years, ever since, and probably even before that, since I started my first YouTube channel. I made promises to myself and didn't really keep them as far as showing up. One of the reasons, I think, is because I would get ready, I'd have everything going for me, and then I would realize that I only had a small window of time, and I would look at myself in the mirror and say, it's gonna take a lot longer than that to get ready. Or I would spend all my time getting ready and not really showing up. And by the time I did show up, I would be super inauthentic, because now I'm just trying to remember, because stress has gotten the better of me. So many reasons. So anyway, the first reason that I didn't show up before is because I was being hypercritical of myself and my appearance. And it snuck up. It wasn't in the usual ways of being hypercritical. I didn't look in the mirror and say horrible things like you saw in the movie White Chicks when she was trying on clothes at the mall. I'm big on thinking positive, and I'm big on only allowing positive things to be said out of my mouth. So I knew how to sneak it by myself without even realizing it. But the truth of the matter is, I still was doing it. And this is how it would show up. I would have an idea for a video. I would decide I was going to record said video. I might even get around to outlining and scripting the idea, maybe even doing the research. But then when it came time to show up, work, my 9-to-5 work, or the kids or the household or something else would keep me super busy. And then with the tiny little window of time I allowed myself to devote to putting content out there, I would look at myself in the mirror and say, I'm not going out there like that. I've got to put myself together. By the time I got through putting myself together, it was too late. Or I still recorded it, but with zero energy, lighting bad, and all that other stuff, because I set up for a different part of the day that I never got to. Well, that was the story of so many videos. You have no idea how many videos. And by the time I did this 2 or 3 times, the idea was outdated. I had changed my mind. 11 reasons why I just didn't share it. Sometimes I got around to recording the video, never edited it. Sometimes I got halfway through editing, never shared it. But anyway, the whole point is, it was me not wanting to show my face. And I'll talk more about that in detail if I see that that's a topic that you guys are interested in. Not just my personal story necessarily, but some of the things I did to overcome it, and some of the things I found that were good as far as dealing with it and addressing it, but also what I found that other people were experiencing too. And I don't know that I thought about what I looked like. I just know that when I looked in the mirror, it was a whole different person. And I couldn't always dress that up and make myself feel like it was the best face to present to the world. And I was worried about what a lot of people call the internet trolls, but definitely the people that might not be nice about it if they saw me. And it didn't help that some of my earlier videos where I felt like I was looking good, I had some really mean comments. And before you guys, comment about that, whether it's kind or not so kind, I get it. I'm thicker skin, all that other stuff. I get it. But it still messed with me. It was the idea that that's what I look like. and I was struggling with it too. So I didn't want to put my face out there until I dealt with some things, some body image issues that I had. That's number one. It's my second issue, and that was time management. And so I tapped into that a little bit, talking about how long it took me to get ready and stuff like that. But it was more than that. And that's what I want to get to with this item on the list. And that was time management and prioritization. So really this could be two separate things, but it's not. It was time management based on my priorities, which revealed to me that I was treating this work, not just the content creation portion, but the work that the content creation was a part of, putting this vision out there, fulfilling a mission that I feel called to, that is part of fulfillment of my purpose. I realized that I wasn't prioritizing this vision and this mission like I said I was. I was treating it, and let me rephrase that. I prioritized it high on my list, but I was treating it like I had all the time in the world. But then I was getting upset that I wasn't getting results now. Well, I wasn't treating it like I wanted results now. I wasn't treating it like it was my life's work. I wasn't treating it like I was ready to step into my calling, step into my vocational purpose, and let my purpose aligned work become the work that I treat like it's my job. So I treated my 9-to-5 like it's my job, as it's fair to do. I mean, I made an agreement, and I like my 9-to-5 a lot, so it's not like I didn't like it, but it just, the clock was starting to feel like it was ticking on my life, and I was starting to want to be in a stage in my life where I was living more present and more in the moment than that type of focus would have allowed. So it wasn't so much that I needed to stop thinking about my 9-to-5 as it was that I needed to start thinking about my vocation the way that I thought about my 9-to-5, like it was non-negotiable, like it was important, like it was work that mattered, like it was respectable work and not a hobby, not a vision for something far off into the future. And that's what I mean by time management prioritization. I managed my time like I was just gonna do things when I could squeeze them in, when I felt like it, when the vibe was right, all that other stuff. But guess what? That meant I wasn't gonna get consistent results. That meant it was hit or miss as to whether or not I even got around to it. And days would turn into weeks, weeks would turn into months, and months turned into years with no real progress, even though my dream was still my dream. My purpose was still my purpose, and I'm very purpose-driven. And I just was really unhappy about that. I got tired of that. I'm not good with making excuses to myself because I am well aware of when what I'm saying and what I'm doing is not aligning. And I think that's one of the biggest problems that people have in general when it comes to achieving your goal, living your dreams, and making the things that you put off into the future come into the now in terms of happiness and wholeness and all the other good stuff. So my time management was atrocious. I was putting everything before this work, but this work was burning in my heart, and I had no reason to do it and then expect my life to look different in terms of being more vocationally aligned than I was. So after a while, I realized I had been doing that for a long time, but that was another reason why I wasn't really putting myself out there. I wasn't making myself ready. I wasn't creating content on a consistent basis, giving myself a schedule, doing all the stuff I do for my 9-to-5 and for other people when they hire me to do stuff. I wasn't doing it for me, for my own content, for my vision, my purpose, and my goal. So that's number 2. I'm trying to get 5,000 steps in on this walk. I'm only at 1,900. Something about trying to talk and walk at the same time, man. Reason number 3 is comparison. I was comparing myself to everybody else. So on some days I would see YouTubers that were killing it. They were getting their vision out. You could tell they were fulfilling a mission. You could tell that they were whatever. And their content looked great. But it's like comparing somebody else's fall to my spring because they were further along in their process than me. And I didn't need to do that. The other thing that I was doing is comparing myself to people who weren't as far along. And then I would be like, well, if they can do it and get views, subscribers, followers on other social media platforms, then so can I. And let me get myself out there. But then I would rush to do it or try to do it at a level that wasn't something that was easily maintained for me while maintaining my other responsibility. But so comparing myself to others, and that includes not just others, other people, other stages in my life and development for me, and ideas of what I felt like I should be based on what I felt like other people thought I should be. People in my family or people whose opinions mattered maybe more than they should have. That was the third thing. Those are the reasons I didn't show up last year and before. Now let's talk about what's different now. So reasons I'm gonna show up this year. Number one, I realized that as far as my face and my body is concerned as a whole, number one, I gotta love it and appreciate it where it is. It's still functioning and performing and doing things for me that I don't need to take for granted. And I know somebody's gonna comment below and say, there are people that don't have it like you do. And I don't like to use that as a reason to be grateful for anything, any particular thing, whether it's money or health or whatever, because I don't ever want to predicate my happiness on somebody else's suffering. I just feel like that's bad news. I'm going to be grateful for where I am right now, love myself at this space, acknowledge my responsibility for all of it, and that includes any changes that I want to make, any places that I'm already at now. My doing was a lot of this, right? Yes, we're given certain gifts, certain blessings, certain abundance, certain things we just get here with. And not everybody gets here with the same things, but whatever we got, we got. But also, if my face was showing signs of aging that were not what I wanted them to be, it's because of what I did or didn't do to it or to my body. Same with my body. So I can either continue to hide and let it deteriorate, or I can choose to care for it in the ways that I promised myself I always would, from a space of love and from a space of desiring to improve, and let it be what it's gonna be. But either way, that's what I'm presenting to the world. That's what I'm putting out here. And I'm choosing to share my journey because somebody else may be going through the same thing and it may encourage them. And if not, then at least it's a badge of courage for me that says that I decided in the morning, every morning, that I was good enough and I walked like it, I talked like it, I lived like it. And that's something. That's not for nothing. All right, so that's number one. I'm committed to loving and caring for myself. I'm committed to self-acceptance right where I am. And I'm committed to sharing my vision, my mission, the things that I'm supposed to share. And I'm gonna share it from a space of being authentic in that right now. I'm not gonna put it off while I get judged up. So some days you may see me on this app looking a little more put together than others. And while I would love to say that we are all evolved enough that we don't feel the need to point out or poke fun at others, I know that there's a chance that somebody's gonna stumble across my video and poke fun. And when that time comes, I will have the thick enough skin to deal with it, or I will overcome it in one way or another. But I'm not gonna let that stop me. I've chosen not to let it stop me. That's number one. I'm not gonna let analysis paralysis get to me anymore. I am going to, this is not always an ideal mindset, but when you are letting analysis paralysis get in your way, it is, and that is, done is better than perfect. I'm going to perfect, I'm going to align with the highest good and highest calling of me, my highest potential at any given moment. But if I feel called to do something, I'm gonna do it then and not later. Hence this video being recorded while I'm still editing the last video that I made for last year that I'm still gonna put out. Done is better than perfect. It doesn't mean it needs to be sloppier than it is, but it does mean that if it comes out a little sloppier than I intended, but it's done and it's complete and the mission and vision is still honored and it's aligned what I feel called to do with it, then as far as I'm concerned, that's perfection for me right now. That's completion. That includes not overanalyzing this equipment. I'm going to use new things and I'm going to get better and better. I'm just going to keep evolving, guys. So if you have pointers for me or tips as you see my content, put them in the comments with love. It'll be used, shared, or whatever for the benefit of others. But if you're just on here because you don't like your life, just know that you may catch me on a day when I feel called to tell you that and share with you some tips that you may not like. So what I'm not gonna do is allow myself to be beat up on these social media streets. But I am receptive and I am gonna put myself out there and keep improving. Number 3, I am going to glean and learn from all of your stories. No more comparison probably, but collaborations will be welcome, and learning and growing. I will be inspired by others. I will collaborate with others. I will learn from others. I'm just not going to compare myself and feel like I need to be anywhere other than where I am. Where I am is where I am, and that's good enough. This is my year of action. This is my year of life, being alive and living. And this is my year of discovery. This is my year of making things tangible that once were only dreams and vision. I feel that in my soul. And so I'm gonna put myself out there and see what it do. See what it looks like to be out here on the other side of perfection, on the side of doing, on the side of being, and being free to do so and accepting that. And I'm just gonna be grateful. So here I am. This is what I look like. As things continue, change, or improve, or do whatever they're gonna do, I'm still gonna be here. I'm still gonna show up, and I'm not afraid anymore. And this year and going forward, you'll be seeing more of me because I'm keeping my promise to myself, and I'm not letting those big 3 that I just told you about get in my way anymore. Until next time, thank you for taking this walk with me. Thank you so much for joining me live. To become a part of the Evolve and Expand family, please remember to like, follow, share, and subscribe on all of the social media platforms that appeal to you.